Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this particular video, I'd like to discuss my thoughts on episode 5 of the anime series, Galilei Donna. This was a beautiful, heart-wrenching episode. The atmosphere for the series, I said all the way back in the first episode review coverage that I did, that this series, the sort of atmosphere of it really reminds me and harkens back to those grand old times I had playing the Final Fantasy RPG games, as far as they really just immerse you in this entire world. I love that, we're following these three Ferrari sisters as they're moving on to their next destination, that is the Netherlands, which is icy and snowed out and almost entirely a ghost town. They walk headlong into the den of the Blue Hawk, one of these pirate factions that the Adney Moon Company is proclaiming as being the people who are going after their wares, their stuffs, and pirating it and everything like that, attacking their vessels. And I think there is more than meets the eye going on, as I'll touch upon again in a few minutes. But essentially you have, Hozuki befriending this boy Theo. He's a young sort of inventor-type chap himself, although one from a very poverty-stricken background rather than the wealth that her family has known. And he is creating fantastic things like a telescope out of scrap materials and stuff, which actually has a name carved into it, which is that of this little girl, Karen, a little girl who is walking around with a cane, and you feel for her immediately when she starts to think, in a sense, judging by her, facial expressions and everything, that the joy that Theo has in talking to Hozuki might be sort of, getting in the way of the romantic feelings that this girl, Karen, has for Theo. Lo and behold, we find out that he feels very much the same way, and there's just this cute sort of getting to know each of them singularly with Hozuki. She basically has Karen on her own for a little while, and they talk, and I just love that, basically Hozuki is excited to learn that these two brand new friends in the making are, sort of smitten with each other, and she really loves that. She loves that it sort of adds to all of those quotations she's been reading from Galileo and his sketches and the accompanying notations that were made about meeting someone and falling in love and not knowing what loneliness was like. There's just really this great emphasis on a sort of romance that lasts and stands the test of time. Now, of course, while she's making these fast friends, you have Anna and Kazuki, respectively, going out and looking around for this mysterious church. They're completely oblivious, spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen the episode, to the fact that the Blue Hawk's hideout effectively is the church. It was a church that they basically transformed into a train station of sorts. But the thing is, as soon as I saw this place, it immediately struck me that it was the church they were looking for, so they should have just stayed right then and there. Of course, you have Hazuki, after being out in the cold for a little too long, she's returned to the Galileo because she believes she's coming down with a cold, and everything just ramps up. Suddenly, without warning, you have the leader of the Blue Hawk regime, this guy Ludger, getting a call, a very mysterious call, kind of along the same lines as we saw in a previous episode that Anna Hendricks received while on board the Galileo by herself. And he suddenly decides to hightail it. He knows that there's an attack force coming that is probably related to the Adney Moon Corporation, as news conferences are constantly being held to pinpoint, all these, air quotes, pirate factions who are stealing their goods and their services and wares and injuring their people or killing their people. And we see that it's a very much Robin Hood-esque kind of thing going on, where these people are poverty-stricken. This big corporation cares not at all for the smaller people, the people without wealth and stuff like that. And so they have to do this. They have no recourse if they want to self-preserve. And I really find myself wondering if this man Ludger might have been, someone working alongside the Adney Moon Company to get all these poverty-stricken people together, and maybe he got the signal by them to leave the area. What resulted in him hightailing it, maybe that has to do with, he was there to rally the troops and make these people look like the pirates the Adney Moon Corporation is claiming them to be. And when his job was successfully done, and, the leader of the Adney Moon Corp needed to save face now that they have had their butts handed to them in the news media, with all of the attacks that have been successfully brought forth by pirate factions going after the stuff they're producing, maybe it's that this guy said, well, now we need to turn the tables and show that we're successfully taking down the pirates, and thus he puts in a call to this guy. Time will surely surely tell if that's the case, and I will be eager to see how this all unfolds. So you have this guy just bowing out, and even opening fire on this little boy Theo, who looks up to him and considers him, I guess, a role model or someone to be admired, and he hightails it. He's gone when these ships come firing, raining hell down. Of course, the Galileo just barely manages to get Hozuki out of there, and she wants to take command of the vessel and go save Theo and Karen. Theo has gone back to save Karen because, he didn't know what happened to her. She found the telescope he made for her birthday as a sort of, dedication of their love, and they save each other. But tragically, and it really got me, Misty, it really stunned me, that they met their fate together. It was very silent when you saw his lips move, but I believe, based on her smile, their mutual shared smile in the aftermath, that he said, "I love you." I think he professed his love for her in her final moments with him, and they were wiped out by this faction. Of course, the Grande Rosso, the AI of the Galileo, would not let Hozuki go in to try to save them because they would be blown out of the sky, essentially. And it was just a really moving, heartbreaking chapter. Of course, they did uncover the second of the moon sketches from Galileo, and it will probably contain clues as to where the third in their search will be, leading them on to their next destination, somewhat bittersweetly, I would think, after this episode. And I really can't wait to see where we go from here. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 5 of Galilei Donna. If you've seen it, I highly recommend checking out the series if you haven't, and that'll be it for me on this one. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.